welcome everyone to a little bit of a recap on the latest National League races that we had up in Brisbane a couple of weeks ago. It was the third round of this year's National League, and we had three sprint races in Brisbane, up in Queensland. And today we're joined by Nea Shingler and Mikayla Cooper to go through some of the results and talk about the races. How are we going, Nea? How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you, Brodie?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. Mikayla, what's happening up in Newcastle?
Oh, oodles of things, oodles of things. Doing pretty good, doing pretty good. It was a really exciting weekend last weekend. I think there was lots of things happening and lots of people going really well. And I think it's very cool to take a step back and unpack it all.
Yeah, cool. Should we start with the sprint individual, which was on Saturday morning at Griffith University? Do one of you guys want to talk about what the terrain was like? What was the map?
Okay, I'll just say a little bit and then Mickey can take over. Um, it was just like it was a uni campus, um lots of buildings. And but when we turned over the map first, there was just a lot of out of bounds area, which I think took a lot of people by surprise, and it looked quite overwhelming. Well, for me at least, it did. Because it's quite different to the map that we'd seen before, because a lot of it was like hashed out. So yeah, it was quite unique, I think, because of that. But it was good fun. It was like quite technical and hard to get moving, I think. It was like turn after turn, make sure you know where you are. And there was
Yeah,
some
yeah.
little bush route choice, which I think I didn't see personally, but I don't know if it was better. I don't know if Mickey took it or anything.
Yeah, no, I think because everyone did, or at least I did, and I know Nia did, a bit of prep for the Saturday morning, just having a look at it and we looked at a walkthrough video of the campus, and we were like, oh wow, there's going to be lots and lots of multi levels. So we had like prepared for that, and then turning the map over and going, oh, it's half of the map is gone because it's been hashed
Yeah.
out. That was a bit of a surprise, but I think that it was still really quite technical and a lot of in and outs, which was really cool and good. And I think we got to go run through. I'm not sure if you on your map, Brodie, had to do it, but go through that same passage like multiple times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, to like
Yeah,
find that, I was like, there has to be a way through. Hopefully there's not a trap through here, but I'm gonna go for it and see. And I know I saw
yeah,
you in there, Mickey. So that
yeah,
gave me a little I was like, oh, if at least you can get through here because you were
yeah,
on the second part.
yeah, yeah. And I just feel like you just went through that more and more times and got more and more used to
Yeah.
it. And that's
Yeah,
how you could kind
definitely.
of settle into the course a bit more, I
Yeah.
think.
And obviously, as you said, it like took me a little bit by surprise with none of the like multi-level really being used because I don't know in the bulletin they mentioned it, so I was like, oh my God, it's going to be so tricky in multi-level, but it was kind of tricky enough on its own without that. So
Mm. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And I think
yeah,
they
cool.
provided a really good route choice and stuff. And yeah, it
Yeah, I
was a really
think
good map.
Nia was talking about that route choice. I've just sort of shared it on the screen if this goes to video. The 12 to 13, we had the same route choice on the men's course.
Mm.
Which way did you guys go? The 12 to
Um,
13.
I
Well,
went
that's what I
right.
saw you, didn't I,
Oh,
Mickey?
yeah,
When you were going through
yeah,
the like
yeah.
past
I
the
went like if you orientated the map, I went right, like
yeah.
through the building.
I I made a mistake to this one. I like from 12 I like went left and then I got confused because I think because I was looking on the old map I was like they would make a way through the building, like the building just north. Oops. Just north, and then I got there. I got to like the junction. I don't know how to explain it. The junction, just where you down a bit, Brodie, and then up there, that junction there. And I was like, oh my God, I can't get through. So then I went all the way to the big set of stairs and up them and all the way around. So that like frazzled me a bit. And yeah.
Yeah, and I'm assuming probably lost a little bit of time if you went all the way back
Yeah,
out to that big set of
definitely,
stairs. So yeah, that was it.
definitely.
It was a tricky control. I think a lot of people got caught out that went to go left. But if you executed left well, then you would have been quite fast, I think. But I still
Yeah,
think the
but also,
fastest route choices may be right by in the men's course anyway.
yeah, also I guess it was like hard to when you're going through there for the first time. It was a bit like, oh, a bit iffy, like knowing where to go. But then I guess it helped later in the course being quite confident getting through there.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Well, I guess it doesn't appear to have slowed you down too much now. You got the overall win in the women junior elite, but you were running the same course as the women's senior elite, and you got the overall win. How was the rest of your race? Was it good?
yeah, I mean, I think I don't know, I didn't really feel that good when I finished, but I knew I didn't make any major mistakes. Like my biggest mistake probably was one we were just talking about, and I made a mistake to the second control. So I kind of wasn't expecting it. But then I think I was just quite solid to the rest of them, which I think was good. And yeah, I don't know
Yeah,
really.
yeah, nice. All right, we'll go through the top three of the each course. So in the women junior elite, Nea was first in 14:44, and Miliki from Victoria was second, 15:24, and Sophie Tavernar was third in 16:18. So about a minute
Yeah,
back
that
from
was really
Miller.
good.
But
Yeah.
yeah, an awesome result for Sophie.
Awesome result for Sophie.
And
Yeah.
Justine as well in fourth, just
Yeah,
a bit
not far
behind.
behind that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But I think that's probably one of Sophie's best results in the junior elites, and it was competitive. It would have put her in third place in the senior elites as well. So it was a really good
Yeah.
run.
Yeah, good.
And then in the women's senior elites, Mikayla, do you want to call that one out?
Oh yeah, Kaylin just absolutely smashed it. And then I toddled in behind her, and then Emily and Tara. So it's just a really strong field. Whenever you look at the senior elites, you go, "Oh my gosh!" It's kind of so many big names like Tara and Liv and Evelyn and Jules. Like everyone there has represented Australia, and um, it's just pretty crazy that everyone's just up there and working really hard. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. No, it was good strength, and it's good having when you guys race when you race the juniors as well, because they're sort of keeping you honest. So
Oh
putting the
yeah.
two
Oh yeah.
fields
It's
together is,
very, very humbling. Very
and I
humbling.
think I think we saw that on the knockout day, which we'll get to. Then in the men's course, Patrick Jaffe in his first run of the season, out of nowhere, first
Pretty
place,
crazy.
12:59. He was very fast. And Ethan
Smash.
Penk in one of his probably best runs of the season as well, coming in second in 13:07, closely followed by Alistair George in 13:08. So it was pretty tight at the top end. But yeah, as you said, the depth was pretty strong. The top six,
Yeah.
all multiple representations at Australian level. So yeah, it was a hard fought win for Pat and really impressive performance.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And then Cooper won that, and he was not far behind at all. So he would have just been in. Oh, what would he been in? 42 in eighth. No,
Yeah, I think eighth.
yeah,
Yeah,
eighth, 52. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Eighth in the 21 league, and that's really impressive because he's quite young too. How
Mm.
old's Cooper?
He's
17?
18 this year, I think.
18? Yeah. Yeah, so
Quite
he's super
impressive.
young and really doing well. And then
Yeah.
Oscar Brown in second. He's
Hmm.
definitely that's a massive race for him.
Yeah.
And he
yeah, it's
smashed it out again.
probably a name that I didn't really know before the weekend. So kudos to Oscar for having such a
Yeah,
good run.
absolutely.
Yeah.
One to watch.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
and then we've
Cal,
got Callum in third, who we know is just a pretty solid sprinter, and he just showed it again. And
yeah,
then you in best in fourth.
yeah,
Amazing job.
yeah.
But
No,
woohoo for the Tassies.
yeah, we'll go down to fourth for Tasmania.
It's the Tasmania. We got to cover that.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's great. Cool. And so that sort of rounded out the morning, and then the afternoon we headed to John Paul College, about 20 minutes drive away for the sprint relay. And yeah, this was shaping up to be really exciting because there was no really dominant team. It was a big spread. As we were sort of saying, it's very tight across all of those age groups, and the states were all really evenly matched. So it was sort of set up to be quite a good race. Nea, your team went pretty well. Do you want to give us a little bit of a recap of your race, but also the results?
Yeah. So I was in the 21s team. I think we didn't have a second girl that was going to run, so they asked me to, and I think it also made for a good competition between like New South Wales juniors and seniors as well, because obviously our juniors are quite strong, and it's interesting to see how going against each other, how they go, and they ended up being quite close. So Serena went off first for us, and she came through the spectator like up with the pack, and I think she lost a little bit of time on the second loop, but still like a really strong run, which was good to see. And then yeah, there's just like people everywhere because there's so many teams, so it was kind of like you didn't really know what was going on. So yeah, I went out on the fourth leg and with I think a few of the top girls. So I was with Caitlin, Mickey. Wait, Mickey, were you fourth leg?
Yeah, I was fourth.
Yeah, so Mickey, Sophie, Taverna, like everyone was standing waiting for their runners to come through, and we didn't really know what was going on, who was gonna go out. And then we went out to a pivot control where we had different orders. So I didn't really know how I was going because I didn't really see anyone out there. So but then we came back and we won. Woohoo, go us. And then was it who came in second? Was it
South Australia came in second.
yeah, that was
Yeah,
good
so
to
because
see.
they had
South
that
Australia quite
massive,
strong.
that amazing sprint finish. Not that I saw it, but
Oh
Brodie
yeah.
did a really good. Brodie and Aston told me a really good rendition of it. Apparently, Em and Caitlin were just going so fast, and that was and
Oh, and Tash too. Yeah.
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 And it's just like those guys are just such strong sprint finishers. And it's like they would have been so cool to see, but I was just out there toddling away.
Yeah, that was one of
It's always
the
good.
closest finishes I think I've seen in Australia. So it was really cool.
Since the relay in Sydney sprint weekend, I think,
Yeah,
between
so
Caitlin and Em again.
I think Caitlin and Em, they were for first place, I think, was it, or were they second place in Sydney? But it was
Yeah,
a
second, I think.
second, but it was a sprint finish, and I think they were actually
Yeah.
they couldn't separate them on the line. But
Yeah.
this year, Tash punched the control first, and Emily just behind, and Caitlin in third, and Emily managed to Emily managed to get in front, and then Caitlin snuck up the inside of Tash to come third for Canberra. So yeah, I think Victoria were a bit a bit annoyed at Tash saying that she should have run harder, but I think it was hard for her getting chased down by those two girls. So yeah, it was a really exciting finish.
Yeah.
Cool.
It was
And
a
then
fun little course out there too. It was easy to get confused. I know I got confused at one part where there was a locker room and we had to go above it. Yeah. So it was a good little course, I think.
Yeah, I think it was pretty crazy going. I think we went to 1 to 3,000 for that map. And so that kind of like was like, ooh, a whole nother like challenge in itself, flipping the map over and being like, oh, does this look smaller than usual, larger than usual?
definitely, yeah, that was a big shock, I think, for me personally when I flipped over the map. Or I think I knew it was 1 to 3, but just like everything was coming up a lot quicker than the morning. So yeah, it was pretty tough. And like you said, there was people everywhere. I think the way the course did a fantastic job of the courses as the two loops, which meant that no matter, you were sometimes with people that were in front of you, sometimes with people that were behind you, sometimes you were people that you were racing directly, and it was really hard to tell where you were. So yeah, it was really exciting racing. There was always someone around, even if you weren't exactly at the same time as them. So yeah, it was really enjoyable. In the juniors, I think, as you said, the New South Wales juniors team had quite a strong team, so they ended up coming
They
in.
had the fastest first leg. So Erica had the fastest first leg out of
And
everyone.
second, yeah.
She came back first. Yeah, I think they was still in the lead after the second leg as well. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Cooper came back first as well.
Yeah, so they had a really
so
strong
he
start.
yeah, he
Yeah.
smashed it too.
So they were ahead of like this. They were ahead of the seniors. Were they still?
I think so, until third
Yeah.
leg at least.
Yeah.
I think Victoria through Pat Jaffe caught back up to them on the third leg, but they still
Yeah.
finished quite respectively. I think they did 52-18 overall, which would have put them into fifth place behind that sort of sprint finish from Emily, Caitlin, and Tash, who were the second, third, and fourth. So they would have been fifth outright, but they're first in juniors, and then the Victorian junior team weren't that far behind. They were only a minute 12 seconds behind, and they came in second. Again, some really good runs across the whole team there. And the Canberra Cockatoos team came in third place. And I think Justine Hobson had a really good run on the final leg. I think she had the fastest time in the juniors there.
Good to see Canberra getting up there.
Yeah, so
just
that
because
was
you live there now.
Yeah, exactly. It's because it's my influence, obviously. Just good
Oh
vibes.
yeah, it's just because you moved there. Yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly.
When are you gonna move to Canberra Cockatoos now?
Not happening. Not happening.
Yeah, I was going to say hot take. When's that
Nah.
happening?
Nah, yellow doesn't suit me.
I think the Canberra Cockatoos the managers might be on to you, offering you a contract at some point.
Yeah, well, I heard
How much would it cost for you?
Yeah, exactly. Nah, blue compliments my eyes more, so it's all about looks.
Yeah, fair
Absolutely. Get her off the Australian team then.
enough. Fair enough. And that, I guess, nice little segue into the final race on the Sunday, which is the knockout sprint. And we moved around a little bit for this day because obviously you need 4 different areas or enough for 4 different courses. But we're all in lots of little school campuses. So it was lots of tight racing. And overall, it was a really good day. It was really fun. Mikayla, maybe do you want to run down? I think like most people listening to this would know what the knockout format is, but I guess a quick rundown of how the day played out in terms of what they use for splitting for the different races.
Yeah. So the first race of the day, so the qualifications, we started with 3 at a time, and you were each in different heats, and you had different splitting throughout your first course. So that course was about 8 minutes long was I think the side winning time. And I know for me personally, I started with Zoe and Erica, and I don't know what was going on in that time because we all won our heats because I think we were just pushing each other to go really, really fast. And I think when you're kind of in that situation where you're just like, oh, but they're over there and I know they're not on my course, but they're still going really fast. I've got to catch up and I've got to run faster. And I think that really made us go quite fast because back fast. That was pretty cool. And then they take that and they put that into the finals where there's 6 of you and the top 3 in your quarterfinals get through. And then we moved locations to the semifinals, and the top 2 in the semifinals get through to the final at the end. So that was kind of how the day went.
And in the quarterfinals, they were using runner's choice to split up the. Which runner's choice did you guys choose?
I picked A. Yeah, I picked A. I was toying between A and C, and I don't know which one ends up to be better, but I was happy with my choice, I think. I don't know.
Well,
I always get it wrong.
The one that you were not tossing up to choose.
Yeah,
that's the one I chose actually.
Yeah. I did look at that one.
For me.
Yeah, it had a long leg out to the fence. During the like splitting section, and I just like it was bare running, and I thought if other people in my quarter had that, it's hard to like keep yourself pushing if you're not with people, unless everyone else chose B, because if they had the like shorter legs, so I didn't choose it. But valid choice. It worked for you, Mickey.
Kind of.
It's always so hard, to be fair.
It's hard to choose. I think if you could run fast, then B was an okay option. I talked to Brenton Gray, who was the organizer, and thanks, Brendan, for putting on such a good race. He was saying C was best, A was next, and B was the worst choice. So sorry, Mikayla, but I don't think it was.
That.
I don't think it was as long as you were speedy enough to run your bit quick. I don't think you ended up that far behind. So
yeah, I definitely
often,
wasn't first to the common control after the splitting, but I wasn't too far behind.
Yeah. And then in the semi-final they used the pivot control to have sort of two loops, so that split 3 on one loop, 3 on the other, and come back through. So that was quite interesting actually. I think they did a good job of that in terms of there was a few fake fences around it, and it actually, there was a bit of splitting up and coming back together, and it's always really interesting when there's some anticipation as you sort of running back towards the pivot control, trying to figure out, are you in the lead? Is someone else in the lead?
Who are you going to see?
Yeah. So that I actually really like that format.
That stressed me out as well because I didn't see anyone at my pivot. So I was like, I've got no idea what's going on here. Like, I don't know whether I need to push harder or not, or like whatever. So it's good planning, I think.
It's scary when you don't see. It's scary when you don't see anyone though, because like you all, I think we always think the worst, and that we think we're going to be behind even if we're in front and we haven't made any mistakes. So it adds that uncertainty to Nea's race. It's still making her sort of push hard and be a bit worried in those final few controls, even though she was in the lead. So it's a good way of setting it, I think.
Yeah. So you went out, Brodie, at the start of the day saying, "Oh, I might not run. Oh, my Achilles."
Yeah, I heard down the grapevine Brodie wasn't running.
Brodie wasn't running. What happened for you in your day that turned it around for you? Because you were in the final.
Yeah. That was the sandbag of the century, I think. No, it was not a purposeful sandbag. My Achilles was a bit annoyed after the Saturday, and it's been a long-term issue this year, and I'm trying to get on top of it. And turns out it is actually doing all right, because as the day went on, it got better and better. So I started jogging and then slowly got faster and faster each race. But I do think I was annoying some of my competitors because I'd said from the start of the day that I was just jogging. So maybe I just successfully got in their head. So that could have been how it went. But I can go over how the boys' race planned out, and then maybe you two can go through the girls' race. So for the knockout, we combined the juniors and the seniors together, which was really interesting, as we sort of touching on the juniors are running really fast and they can definitely keep up in a sprint, especially in this sort of knockout variety. So I think there was already a few people that were knocked out in the qualification. I think, unfortunately, Alistair George mispunched, but there was a few of the juniors that maybe would have challenged because they were quite speedy that got knocked out as well. That two were Oscar Brown, who came second on the Saturday morning, and Ewan Best, who came fourth. They were both out at the qualification stage. So it's really cool to see that our depth is good enough that people like, if you don't have a good race, you get knocked out. So you have to run well from the start. So that was pretty exciting to see. I think it was maybe the most competitive knockout we've had so far in Australia. But that led through to the quarterfinals, and we had 6 pretty quick quarterfinals. I don't think any of them were too easy to get through. The top 3 went through, and there was a lot of sprint finishing. Of note, I think Angus Haynes nearly missed out. He came 4th over the line, but Miles Bryant had sort of went past the control too quickly and didn't register, so he actually got disqualified. So Angus got back in, but he'd actually been lost a sprint off with Miles. So it was pretty cool to see Miles fighting in that quarterfinal, which also had Lee Soden and Patrick Jaffe in it. Apart from that, I think that he was probably the most
very stacked quarterfinal.
That was a stacked one that it looked like those top 3, Leith, Patrick, and Angus, would run through with no issues, but Miles definitely gave gave them a fright, I think. So yeah, good on you, Miles.
Absolutely.
Definitely in all the men's heats, you weren't sure who was going to get in, which I mean makes for a good knockout. You never
For
really
sure.
know because
For
anything
sure.
can happen. Whoever took the same runner's choice as well, like you would have benefited.
Yeah. All the gaps to fourth place were there, there or thereabouts, but they were just missing out. Then so the top three from each of those six went through to the semi-finals, and this is probably where it got even more interesting. In semi-final one, I think there was some boys who made Aston made a bit of a mistake around a temporary fence, and some of the younger boys followed him into it, and then maybe had some issues catching up there. And Cooper got a bit of a convincing win, and Owen Radajewski came in second there. But I think they had quite a bit of a gap because of some mayhem that had happened earlier. Semi-final two, that was the one I was in, and it was really interesting. We had that Joe Lynch and Ewan Shingler, who were the first and second at the Oceania knockout in ours, and so the rest of us were like, oh well, we're probably not going to get through this because only the top two go through. And Joe and Ewan also on the same loop for the pivot. So coming back into the pivot, I'm thinking, oh, where are they? Where are they? I was actually just behind Joe Dickinson. And then they came in just ahead of me and Joe, so it was still on from there. And there was a little bit of people making mistakes, people missing controls. Joe Lynch running towards a fence, Ewan running into some bush. It was a bit of chaos, and somehow I managed to come out in front, which was very surprising. I was not expecting to make it to the final. And then in semi-final three, again, a sprint to the finish. There's a great photo of the top five boys here all sprinting to the finish. They were separated. I reckon it says 5 seconds because they have to give a second to each one, but I reckon it was separated by 3 seconds. So Callum White and Patrick Jaffe finished in first and second in both diving for the line, even though both of them were going through, but Angus, Leith and Ryan just behind. So
It was a
that was
good finish
crazy.
to watch.
Yeah, what did you guys see from the semis? Did you like, I guess there was some interesting sprint finishes, and you only really got to see right at the end when sort of people
because it
flying
was
to the line.
it was whoever came out of those trees like first, and there was even a bit of variation going around the trees to get to the last control, which like kind of changed things. Like you could see people running towards you and you still didn't know who was going to get in. And I know we were on our warm down. We went up the road a little bit and we saw people coming out of the bush, and we were like, we have no idea who's going to get into the semi-final. And then we'd got back and they'd tell us and we'd be like, oh, that's so surprising. That's not what it looked like. But it was just such a change in that last however many meters. So it was very interesting. Good planning, I think.
Yeah, no, that was really cool. And then that made the men's final Cooper, Owen, Joe, me, Patrick, and Callum. So pretty packed final, and it was really that I was in amongst it. Cooper and Joe were sort of leading the charge from fairly early, and I was sort of hanging on to the back. Unfortunately, there was a bit of a collision between me and Callum.
The video is quite interesting to watch.
Yeah, if anyone wants to see a good video, head over to my Instagram. There's a video of me taking out Callum. Sorry, Callum. Yeah, a little at Brodie _Nank. But yeah, that shook me a little bit, shook Callum a little bit more. But yeah, I lost those top two guys, but I think they were already running faster. But then there was a nice little battle between me and Pat for third place, and I managed to just hold him off. So I came in third. I better mention Cooper out kicked Joe at the end. They actually chose a different route choice. I think Joe was in front and he went right to the second last control, and Cooper saw that maybe left might be slightly better and picked a different route, and that paid off, and he hit the second last control in front. And then it was hard for Joe to catch. I think there was a lot there's a video of it and it was really quite interesting. Cooper had the flow to keep running straight, whereas Joe had to sort of do a turn, like a 90-degree turn, and Cooper just gains like 10 meters. So I think, yeah, Cooper planned that really well, and for such a young athlete, it was really really exciting to see him do that and beat Joe, get some payback for Oceania for Australia. So thanks, Cooper.
Yeah, a very amazing result from him. Like it's very intimidating to go up into the 21s and mix it with them and mix it with Joe, who is Oceania champion, and pretty cool that he's done that.
Yeah, shows that
Yeah.
he just has like the kick. Obviously in the individual he would have been like 8th, but with this like shorter length it obviously suits Cooper more, which I mean it also shows he's just going to get better. Like if he can do it in 1.8, I don't know in how many years he'll be able to do it in the longer course as well.
Yeah, definitely. And it was a super wiggly course, and like Event was telling me that the K rate was 3:43s. Like it was fast the whole way, and he was able to sort of hang on as well. So yeah, he ran really well. Then I came in 3rd, Pat was in 4th, Owen went 5th, and Callum actually got up and finished. So kudos to Callum for sort of jogging around at the end. He'd taken quite a bit of a smack to his knee. So yeah, it was nice to see him finish. I was quite relieved that I hadn't hurt him too bad. So sorry, Callum, and good on you for finishing. Do you guys want to go through the girls for the day?
Yeah, Mickey, do you want to start?
Yeah, sure. Well, I suppose I kind of talked about the qualies, and so we've pulled up into the quarterfinals, the 6 quarterfinals, and they were all pretty good. I think they're all similar. If you look at the times for everything, everyone's very similar in times. I feel like I got stitched up because I had a very tough quarterfinal with Tara and and Jules. So like us 4 were all within like a couple seconds of each other, and I actually was, because of my terrible map choice, I was coming 4th, and then this is an awful story. I fell over on the way to the second last control, and Julia paused to like help pick me up, jumped up, and I started running again, and then I overtook her, and that was the reason she didn't make it. And I have not stopped thinking about that ever since. And I'm sorry, Julia. This is my public apology.
Yeah, it was a sprint finish as well. Yeah.
It was a sprint finish, and I knew that Tara was way ahead. Well, way ahead, 2 seconds ahead, but it felt like she was way ahead. And Emily is such a strong runner. I was just absolutely giving it my all to beat her. And then I know that Julia was coming from behind, so that was just a really hard quarterfinal to be in. And I'm sorry, Julia.
I love it how you single-handedly with that story you've given Julia the sportsmanship award, but also given yourself the negative sportsmanship award.
Yeah, fire me. Seriously, I should be here. Dan Gray told me that I was the scorpion in the Scorpion and then the Frog fable, where the frog
if we do this for another Noel round in the future, we can give out a sportsmanship award, but also a fine, and you can have the fine for this round.
Yeah, I'll write that down for the Noel dinner award. Nominate myself.
Yeah. So
other quarterfinals, yeah.
I think so for quarterfinal, just like Miller, Liv, and Gemma. Yeah, pretty expected. The only thing was in quarterfinal 3 when Amber got knocked out because she mispunched, so that meant Serena got through. Yeah, and I don't know if any of the other ones had much like, I don't know what the word is.
Tied on the line, yeah. They were all pretty clear cut.
Yeah, all of them are pretty clear. Maybe in my quarter, from Justine, Sophie, and Savannah had a little sprint finish, I think, which was good to see. And so then Justine and Sophie out sprinted Savannah. But Savannah had a really good run. She's still quite young. So
Yeah, she was up there with them, like right there. It's
yeah,
like,
really
that's
good to see.
amazing.
And even out on the course, she was up there with us as well. And it was like we were all running together, I think. So it was quite good to see. And then the semis, we move on.
Oh my
And
God,
all
I
of
was a
them,
bad sportsman person again in the semis. Oh my
yeah,
God.
all of the semis were pretty like stacked. None of them were like, oh, that's or easy or whatever. They were all like got very good runners orienteers in them. Mickey, do you want to talk about your bad sportsmanship again?
I went in there being like, oh my goodness, this is another really fast heat, I feel. Just having all of those people in it again, like I had Miller, Tara, Liv, and Gemma. And so all of those guys, I was super, super fast. I was like, that's a bit scary. And then basically I was with Miller for a bit of it. We were on the same split, and then she made a little bit of a mistake near the end, so I was leading at the end of the second last control, and then Miller just disappeared in front of me, and I went, oh, bye bye. And all of a sudden, Tara came in from my left as the last control, and I put my hand out to get the last control, and I think I bashed into her. And I think that I'm a horrible sports person again. I should actually. This is on. I'm horrible. I'm
No,
so
we want
horrible.
more of this. We want more of this on the international level. You just sounds like you're just holding your ground and you just
Yeah,
it's all for
yeah.
yourself.
Yeah, and so I just absolutely kicked it and tried as hard as I could to get there, and I was so surprised that I did, and it was pretty cool. But then looking at the times, like Nea, your semi-final was so fast, and it
Yeah, I
was
didn't
so close
realize.
too. I didn't, yeah, that
Yeah,
was so close too.
I for mine, I definitely like me, Caitlin, Erica, Justine, Tash, and Sophie. Like they all proved like over the weekend they're pretty fast and pretty, had the kick. So it was a bit, nerve-wracking going up into that school. Had no idea what it was like. We would like no one. We couldn't see anything from like the arena or anything. So didn't know what it was going to be like. And obviously the barriers added to the difficulty. And as I said before, like I think Caitlin and Erica had the same splitting. So I went off and I didn't see them until going into the second last control, the one that was like in the bush. And I went into that control and I turned around and Caitlin was right there. And so we had a bit of a moment where we were standing still and then we were like, okay, keep running. So I was like, wow, they're so like because I hadn't seen them at all. I was like, I didn't know whether they'd already finished or what was happening. So Caitlin, and then Caitlin and Erica, they were both like, I think together, and then through the bush I was very tentative, didn't really know what was going on in there, so I think they caught me on that a bit because it was just I don't know where I'm going, bush is scary, I don't want to be going the wrong way, going out of bounds, don't have the best relationship with the bush, so yeah, so but then we came through and Caitlin was second. Well, I think that was a bit of a sprint between Caitlin and Erica there, and then the others came a bit behind. But yeah, so that led us to the final, which was made up of me, Miller, Caitlin, Mickey, Liana, and Serena. Two Tas Foresters there, Mickey. How does that make you feel?
Third of the
Represent?
final. Represent.
Yeah.
Amazing for Liana to get into the
Yeah.
final. She's so young too. She's not 18 till next year. So that's an amazing experience for her to get into the final too. It's really exciting. And yay,
And
Tas
Serena had a
Foresters.
really good run as well. I think Zoe mispunched the semi-final. I wasn't there to finish it, but I think she came in a bit before everyone, and there was then she missed a control or something.
She missed a control, but she was still had a very substantial
Yeah.
lead over her
Yeah.
semi. So it's disappointing that she mispunched, but like we know that she's so amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. So then Serena and Liana got through for that one, which was good to see. And then we had the final, which was very nerve-wracking. We had a fun the start was so much fun, don't you think, Mickey? The little run in and pick up your map. I don't know what it was called. I don't know.
Oh yeah. that was really fun. I'd never done it before, but it was pretty cool.
I think,
And
yeah, I think it worked quite well, except I know
I was
if
left-handed,
you're
and
left-handed, yeah, you had to
I
reach
was actually
over.
at a disadvantage, so it was on
And
the
that's
wrong
why you
side of the
didn't win.
table. And I'm just gonna say it right now, that's why I didn't win.
Which table did you pick? Because to the people listening, there were 6 tables set up facing diagonally across a basketball court towards where you had to run. I think the middle tables were maybe best? Which ones did you
Yeah,
guys end
I
up with?
picked third
I had
to the left, so the middle one, but like on the
Yeah, I
side.
had the closest one to the crowd, but the map on the side of that was hanging over the side of the table was hanging on the right side. Left-handed, so I should have made a formal request.
Yeah.
To swap
Yeah,
it.
because from the start we had to run out and like run around the picnic table, so it was kind of strategic to choose which table you went for, and I thought middle was safe because it was quite, I could see the line out to the grass, which is just behind the basketball court. So yeah.
Yeah, and the final was really good. It was a lot of back and forth across the campus, like a lot of being like, oh, turning around and being like, oh, gotta go back there. And everyone had the same course. So it was a lot of kind of, oh, they're just up there, follow them, map in back pocket. And that, at least for me, that's what I did.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I think Nea had her map out at times.
Yeah.
Some of the time, I would say.
Yeah, some of the
say,
time. No, but also I was gonna say I got quite stressed at the start when I saw that they had put tables out because I thought they were doing runner's choice again. So I was like, oh my God, not again, seriously. But thank goodness it wasn't, and we all had the same course, and it was really like, I don't know, it felt very intense, like the running. I felt like it was a good little like competition. Like I don't feel like I ever run that fast when I'm out on a course, but like I know everyone was like pushing everyone, so it was like very good. It was like also showed me that I can run faster on a sprint course. So it was lots of fun, and it was interesting. There was lots of people out there like filming as well, so that made it also interesting because I was like, oh, who are these people? They can't be anyone else running. Since when do we have 8 people in the final? I'm confused. But yeah, it was an intense, as you said, Mickey, it was like in and out, and yeah, I feel like if someone had chosen a different route choice, they could have made up time, like you said with Cooper, because it was like in and out, and the flow actually really affected things. Yeah.
Yeah,
cool.
and you ended up having a sprint finish to the end, Nea, didn't you?
Yeah.
With Miller.
Yeah, so I was leading up until the spectators. The spectator was at 8, and I don't know how many, was there 12 controls, maybe? How many controls?
Yeah, it was close
Yeah.
to the end.
So I was leading up until the spectator, and then just after the spectator, Miller overtook me. And I was like, oh my God, I've lost it. All goes downhill from here. And then she just missed a little turning into one of the controls. So I got back in front, and then I was like, okay, I've got to fang it. And we were just running, and I was like, I don't know what she's gonna do, because I feel like some of the time I wasn't taking the most optimal route choice. And if Miller especially had taken like a slightly different one, she would have like come in front of me. But we took the same ones. So that was okay. But yeah, it was a good little run around. It was, yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty close at the end. You guys were separated by
Yeah, it was very close. I was like,
second, I reckon.
Yeah, it was. It was like I finished, she finished straight away. It was like from the last control, it was very much a sprint. We punched the second last one, I think maybe a few seconds apart, but then it was like, yeah, go for it. And I know that she has a very quick finish, like a sprint finish. So, yeah.
Yeah, she's only little, but she can go very fast.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, how did you find it, Mickey?
Yeah, I just kind of was like, whew, trying to hang on, and then it was just a big long day full of like a lot of races. I think I was feeling a bit tired at the end, and It was a really cool environment and a cool map, and yeah, I really liked it. Yeah,
Yeah, so
I ended up coming in fourth. Yeah, behind Caitlin. I could just see her in front of me, and I was like, "Oh, I'll see you soon at the finish."
definitely. And then Liana fifth
And
and
then
Serena in sixth.
yeah,
So
sure.
yeah, that was pretty exciting. And I think for Liana, because the senior results, the seniors are taken out of that for the junior results, that was third place for Liana. So that was pretty impressive for her. And I think third place for Serena as well in the senior women. So good for
Yeah,
Serena. What probably some of their best, if not best, results. So good on them for getting all the way to the final, and it pays off when there's juniors and seniors in the final.
absolutely, absolutely. It reminds us seniors that we need to get a bit faster if we're gonna be anywhere near the juniors.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. All right. Thanks for your recaps. It was really interesting to hear your insights of the race, because I think sometimes like the spectators wouldn't have seen all that. So yeah, thanks for giving us a bit of a rundown. That probably finishes up for the weekend. We can do a tiny little recap on where the results are at and going into the last round. So we've got the final round in Canberra in a few weeks now. And that will be the last races or the last race for the individual competition. So at the moment, in the women's 21, it's your best 7 of 10 races. So the winner at the moment's actually, or the leader is Grace Crane from Canberra. And she didn't go up to the sprints, but she's had quite a good season before that. So she's actually got the lead at the moment, 193 points. Caitlin's just behind that, 188 points. And Mikayla is in third in 181 points. So I think all three of you could probably potentially win. It's a bit complicated because you lose your worst race and whatnot, but the final race is worth a little bit of extra points. It's not double points. The winner gets 33 instead of the normal 30. So it's a little bit of an incentive to go to the final round. But yeah, I think all three of you girls probably have a chance at winning the overall. So could all come down to the final race.
Yeah. And then in the senior men, you're winning Brodie on 195, and then Ali George on 183, and you and Shingler on 161. So like it all comes down to the final race there too. I think
Yeah,
maybe Ali
I've done
could.
the maths. Ali has to win, and I need to. If Ali wins and I come fourth or worse, he beats me. So I've done the maths to see what I need to do at the final race, because I've
It's
never
looking
won.
pretty good for you, Brodie.
Yeah, I've never won Noel before. So you would have thought
Really?
by the age of the young age of 29, I would have already won Noel once. I think people would know me like being around a lot, but I've never won an Easter, and I've never won Noel, and I still didn't win Easter this year because Ali beat me. So I'll be trying to beat him in the overall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in the juniors, it's different because it's best of 5. Am I correct?
Yeah, that's right.
It says here. So, and Sam is winning. I think he's on max points. So pretty good from him. And Cooper's just behind. Because obviously, and Sam didn't go to Brisbane, but Cooper got like max points there as well. So that was good for him. So I don't really know what this means.
I think Sam
But
might be unbeatable at this stage. I think
yeah,
Cooper would have had to be a little bit closer. The last race is worth 33, so it's still like
yeah.
if
So
Sam
Sam has to really blow out.
yeah, but he would still have his best
Oh, I
five.
still have his
So
5. Yeah.
yeah, I think
Cooper
I
would
think
just have to get, I don't know, 60 points.
Sam's had a really dominant season, so I think it looks like
Yeah.
he's probably secured it at this stage. I don't know for sure. But yeah, no, that's it's pretty cool to see Sam running. He's at Easter, I think he had K rates that, like most of the races he's won, the forest races, he's had K rates that are faster than the seniors. So they do have a bit of a shorter course, but he's been running really well. So good for
Yeah,
him.
that's because he moved
sure.
to Tasmania. Obviously. Just
Yeah,
putting it out there.
Definitely. And I've heard he might be a recruit for the Tasmanian Foresters next year, which will be very exciting.
Nah, green's not his colour, surely not.
No, I've seen his eyes. I think it matches.
Nah. Oh.
Yeah, we'll take him. That'll do. That'll
Yeah,
do.
we'll have you, Mickey. You're in New South Wales. We'll have you. Fair trade, fair trade.
All Tasmanians go
I
by
think-
state of origin. And we also then, everyone that comes to Tasmania, we tell them it's not state of origin.
We're just going to create the world's best null team. It's happening. And then in the W20s, it's Miller, Nea, Erica. So I think you and Nea and Miller could.
Oh my God, so stressful.
Either of you, it could go either way.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it could. So that one definitely can go either way. It'll probably be whoever wins. If one of you wins, I think you will win.
Yeah.
No, Liana's going to win, actually. None of you will win.
Yeah, because we're Miller's on 147, I'm on 144, so that's 3 points apart now. So yeah, it really does come down to the last one.
So Miller's won 4 of them, and you've won 3 of them.
Yes, correct.
I see. Oof. Exciting
It's nice
stuff.
and close. And then Erica in third, 130. So she's probably a little bit off to challenge, but she looks Zoe Carter's not too far behind in fourth in 122. So there could be a bit of a switch up there. And I think we forgot to mention in the men, because we got a bit distracted, that Cooper is in third. I mean, not Cooper's in second, 138. Callum is in third, 126. So Callum for the Vikings. And
I think that looks pretty safe for Callum, because Oscar's not going to be there for the next.
Yeah.
And he's in fourth, and he's in Europe already. He's not going to be there.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, that's where we're at the moment, and we'll see how the final races go. In the team competition, in the men elite, the New South Wales Stingers have a fairly convincing lead at this stage. Well, actually not that convincing. 6 points over the South Australian Arrows, and then third place is the Foresters.
And then relays, is that double points on
the relay
Sunday?
is double points, but also the team competition's going through to Australian champs, so we won't be sort of finalising that next weekend. But yeah, there's still a bit of a battle going on between New South Wales and South Australia in the men's elite. I can do all of these ones if we want. The women's 21, the South Australian Arrows are in the lead on 72 points. The Canberra Cockatoos on 64 in second, and the Foresters in third again on 56 points. So that's good for the Foresters, 2/3 for us. Very biased Foresters panel tonight.
We'll take that.
In men's 20, the New South Wales Stingers have a very convincing lead. I'm not sure if they can lose it from here, but they might. They've won every single round. So they've won 10 rounds. They're on 90 points. Yeah, that's a solid showing from them. Victoria is on 59 points, and the Foresters again in third on 52 points. And the women's juniors are the same as the men. They've won all 10 races, which is very impressive. So they're on 90 points. The Victorian Vikings are on 58, and the South Australian Arrows on 47. But the Canberra Cockatoos are in fourth and not far behind. They're on 43 points. So still a little bit in that. But yeah, I think the Stingers have some very strong juniors at the moment, which is it's pretty impressive. They've got a clear lead in both those categories.
But anything could happen. Anything could happen.
Yeah, there is a few races. There is a few races at Australian champs. I don't think statistically anyone actually can win that, but the other one definitely could change up before the end of the year. So we might revisit that sometime in the future. All right. Well, I think that leaves us. That went for a bit longer than we thought. Thanks, Nea and Mikayla. It was great to chat, and I think hopefully anyone listening to this or watching it or reading it is got a little bit out of it. So yeah, thanks for coming along. And we might get you back on in the future, get some other special guests on.
Yeah.
Sounds
Yeah.
excellent.
Everybody
Was a pleasure
remember
as
to
always.
enter. Remember to enter for the next null round. And
For the presentation
for the
dinner, more
presentation
importantly.
dinner.
Yeah, don't forget to, and if you have any ideas about funny awards or fun awards, send them to me or Mikayla, and we're going to compile some.
Yeah.
All right, signing off. See ya.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah.